So I had a seminar in Austin, Texas, and people came up to me and they were raving about it, specifically one part of the seminar where I talked about communication. People told me it gave them so much insight that it actually changed their life. Now recently, literally 2 days ago, I got a call from someone who was at that event, and they said because of that specific one part of the seminar, they had closed the biggest deal of their life. And I'm talking about an 8-figure deal here. So I thought about it and I spoke to my team and I said, you know what, why not actually take that part of the seminar, because we record it, and give it to you. So you're about to watch this part on communication. And why is it important? Well, first of all, communication is responsible for everything you do in life. Whether you're talking to someone, selling someone, trying to be in a relationship, having friendship, running a company, or being in a company, you have to learn how to communicate, and you have to learn the little nuances involved. So there are 2 parts to this video. There's a part 1 to part 2, and we're gonna put part 1 in right now. So you're gonna watch that, you're gonna understand it, and then make sure you're subscribed right now. Make sure you're subscribed so you can get there for part 2. And I hope you enjoy it. So step 1 here is this. If I can find someone with a ton of money, an investor, and I go up to him and I connect to him, truly, as a human being, I'm connected, I'm drawing him in, right? And I get him to invest in whatever it is I'm offering. Can I make money overnight? Even if I have no money. Most people are thinking in a small paradigm. I want you guys to get out of this small paradigm and think big. Thinking big is this. I'm going to make millions of dollars in the next 6 months. What needs to happen? If I can't make it directly, who has that kind of capital? How much do I need to borrow from someone in order to make that kind of capital? What do I need to invest in? If I don't know what it is, can I use my networking and communication skills to find someone who's good at making money, find someone who has the money, bring them together, put myself in the deal, and then all of a sudden make money? Absolutely. I'm going to give you guys tools right now to connect with people and communicate with people. But we have to understand how this works. So, the majority of our communication, and initially I used to teach this from an NLP perspective. I have since then found friends who are the leading experts in the world in this stuff, and it's a little bit different. So, majority, and it's not like a specific percentage, but we'll just say over 50% of our of our communication. So we'll just say 50% plus is our body language. Which is pretty crazy to think, right? That the majority of our actual communication is our body language. Now, you think about that, and I want you to go back to that exercise that we did a few minutes ago, where you made eye contact with somebody, and you said how many words? But yet, you felt a connection. Right? So there's something there. Now I can tell you, once you start to open up and you start to connect, you'll create even more rapport. But the truth of the matter is, how you carry yourself physically, where I am here, right? If I walk around, I'm like, okay, guys, so this is the majority of communication. You guys are going to be like, what the fuck? But I'm so chill up on stage. You see how I am with my hands? It's a lot more captivating. Like, if I just go, it draws you in. Everyone literally turned their head. Whoever wasn't looking just turned their head, right? And listen how I said the word. It draws you in, right? You're paying attention. Focus on me, right? All of this, is it congruent or incongruent? It's congruent. So your body language is the majority of your communication. And if I am saying I'm happy and I look like I'm happy, no one's gonna fucking listen, right? I'm fine. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. You know? Everyone's going to be like, dude, shut the fuck up. Of course you're mad. Right? So what people look for when you're talking to someone, anyone you ever talk to someone and get this bad gut feeling and go, I don't trust them. Okay. And then you have someone where you look at them and you're like, holy crap, I really connect to them. What's the difference? Well, there's a part of your brain, your mammalian brain, right, that's identifying things at the unconscious level, right? It's called your subcommunication. Our subcommunication is identifying and looking up for physical signals in body language. So if someone goes, hi, how are you? You don't like their smile. What if it's a genuine smile? Can we tell? Yeah, you can even tell on an Instagram picture. Can you tell if a smile is genuine? Now, why is this important? Well, for instance, smiling, one of the many, many different pieces of body language that we like to communicate, we're actually one of the only animals that when we smile, are telling someone else a signal. And what's the signal we're sending? Well, if you look at other animals, tigers, chimpanzees, gorillas, baboons, what do their teeth do? What are they doing when they show their teeth? They're threatening you, right? It's a threat. Our teeth, not very sharp, not very dangerous. What are our teeth showing everybody? Friendly. Hey, it's a signal. I'm not here to harm you. Now, what happens when we smile to someone else? What is the immediate inclination? They smile back. Their brain is sending you a signal, I'm also not here to harm you. But now someone smiles and the smile's off. You don't know why the smile's off, but it seems off. What's happening? Your brain is going, that is not a clear signal, something's incongruent. Right? They didn't say anything, but something's incongruent. Now, you might have a conversation with someone. I had a business meeting about 3 weeks ago where someone was pitching me on an idea. One of the most charismatic people I've ever met, but I couldn't pinpoint, and I'm an expert in this stuff, I could not pinpoint what was off. I just intuitively did not feel right about what they were saying because something was incongruent. I couldn't tell you what it was. I still to this day cannot tell you what it is, but something was incongruent in their body language. In other words, communicate from the heart. You communicate truthfully. Be congruent. A lot of people are passive aggressive, for instance, or they'll say one thing and do another. I have a pet monkey, for those of you guys who don't know. When he is mad, he bites. When he's happy, he shows you affection. My dogs, when they're mad, they bite each other. When they're happy, they show affection. Human beings tend to be deceiving. They wear a mask. What did I say earlier? When you're connecting with other people, we cannot have a mask on. Do we follow that? Yes. So if we know we can't have a mask on, that's what this is. You're communicating congruent body language that shows that you mean what you say. Do we follow? Yes? Raise your hand if you understand that. Yes. That's why this makes up more than 50% of communication. Because it's truthfully telling somebody whether you mean what you say. Okay? If I say something, I know. Can you look at someone and be like, they find me attractive? Can anyone here do that? I think everyone can do that. Whether you believe you're attractive or not might distort it, but for the most part, you could look at someone and see if they're interested. Can you look at someone and see if they're paying attention to what you're saying? Yes? Can everyone do that? Can you look at someone and see if they're happy? Yes? Can we identify if someone's angry? Yes? Maybe you can't pinpoint what they're doing. Can you tell if someone's disgusted? Yeah, everyone can. Of course we can. It's innate. It is innate. Right? Can we tell if everyone's participating? Yeah. Good. Right? So that's body language. Then we have tonality. And I'll just say 25% because, to be honest, these go hand in hand. So we have tonality and we have words. Now, how many times has someone said, how are you? Good. Tonality, what? Even on the phone, you can't see them. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. I'm fucking amazing. Great. 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 Right? You say that, but we see how it has different meanings because there's a different emotion behind it. Now, what's the one common theme behind every piece of communication? Because believe it or not, your brain understands the world through emotion. Emotion is the language of the mind. We tend to believe that logic and ration is what we use. We don't use that. Emotion is the language of the mind because emotion puts things in motion. It puts your tonality in motion, your words in motion, your body language in motion. The more emotion you're willing to express, if it's not fucking fake, which is incongruent, right? The more emotion you're willing to express, the more trustworthy you are because you can make clear note of what that person's intentions are. Imagine this. You meet someone and they're like, yeah, I like you. I really like you. But you can't tell if they really like you. Versus like, I fucking love you. I love you. I love you. All right? Difference in communication. Now, and let me ask ladies here. If you meet a guy and he's 100% confident, and he looks at you and he goes, I really like you, and he means it, is that less attractive or more attractive? A lot more attractive. Because what kind of guy has the fucking balls to just be straight up, I like you? No one. Because we always have to hide our emotions. And the only reason you'd be willing to hide your emotions is because you've been hurt before and there's fear involved. And it's a mask. Somehow, when your walls drop, everyone around you is willing to be more vulnerable. It's so weird. People always go, Marcel, it's so interesting. People tell you secrets they've never told anybody. Why? And I'm like, that's really interesting. Why? Because I'm willing to tell anyone anything. I have no secrets. Ask me a question, give you the answer. I give every single person the answer, anything they want to know. Because I have nothing to hide. I am not ashamed of who I am. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. I will not do something I'm ashamed of. And if I will be ashamed of it, I wouldn't do it. And people make mistakes, but it doesn't matter. And I want you guys to understand, you are not your past, you are not your mistakes. You are who you decide to be now. And that is why this concept of personal development even works. Because if you were who you are, right, if that determined who you are, then you could never change. You'd be stuck, right? There's a lot of cartoons. I remember growing up, you'd see Jimmy Neutron or like Fairly Odd Parents. You'd see all these episodes, and they'd constantly have this theme like, people can't change, right? And there's this ignorance around it. And then they would show people change, but they would change over time. And they'd like fast forward through like a timeline, and 10 years later, you see them change. I don't believe that. I believe change happens in an instant. We make a decision and we change. There's a moment you fall in love. There's a moment you decide that you're willing to trust that person enough that you could be vulnerable with them and fall in love with them. There's a moment you decide you no longer want to be with someone. There's a moment you decide you're going to start a business. You're going to go to the gym. There's a moment where you commit to the future that you like. Now, what I want to do is I want to accelerate that in a short amount of time, because that's what our theme today is, and I want to bring those moments into this talk. So we can have several moments where we decide to commit to our future.